Hey guys, Josh here, and in this video I would like to share with you 11 upcoming farming games that were recently revealed. So many new games have been announced in the last few weeks, new Steam pages have been created, and it can be hard to keep track of everything, but I've collected the most interesting ones, some I'm very excited about, others I'm a bit more skeptical, but if you see a game you're interested in, leave a like on the video so this list can reach even more people, and let's get started. We'll begin with a game that was first revealed less than 2 weeks ago, Cattle Country, which does not have a release date yet but will come out on Steam. In this one, you will play as a cowboy in the Wild West, which I feel like is a theme we don't see a lot in the world of farming sims. Not only that, but this game will lean heavily on that theme, so you will have to shoot bandits, participate in bull riding competitions, explore the country on horseback and go hunting in your free time, or even take part in some more questionable activities such as an underground fight club. Of course, you will also have the usual, so farming, fishing and mining looks a bit like Spelunky or something like that, with a side-scrolling perspective instead of the top-down view that's in the rest of the game and in most farming sims. There will be decorating, cowboys also need a cozy home and ranch to come back to after a hard day of work, and there is something about the art style of this game, the tiny buildings, the blocky yellow characters that look like Legos. I just really like how Cattle Country is looking so far. Just based on the trailer, if I had to compare it, I think that this game will feel similar in a way to Roots of Pacha or Little Known Galaxy, where it's going to be a farming sim that follows the classic formula, but with a unique twist to everything thanks to its Wild West theme that will hopefully make it different enough to be worth playing. The next one, Garden of the Sea, has already been out for a few years as a VR game, but if you can't do VR or if it's not really your thing, well, good news, they are re-releasing it for Switch and PC with the non-VR version. In this game, you will have a small boat with which you'll go and explore various magical islands, and where you'll meet different creatures to befriend. You'll get to build and decorate your home, grow crops, fish, all of this in a very cozy and colorful environment. It does look like a fun time, but I wonder how well it will translate to a regular non-VR game. I have not played the VR version, but I feel like the focus of VR is often the sensory experience that you get, seeing the world in first person and feeling immersed thanks to the headset and the controls. And if you remove that part, will the gameplay by itself be robust and interesting enough to make the game worth playing? Will the controls with a controller or mouse and keyboard feel natural? It will be my first time playing a game that went from VR to non-VR, so I wonder how that will go. But if you have played Garden of the Sea already, I would love to hear your thoughts about the actual gameplay of this one, and if you think it will be good on the Switch and PC when it releases on those platforms later this year. Next, we have a very literal farming simulation game with Farming Simulator 25, which will be releasing on November 12th, 2024 for Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. A while back, we got Farming Simulator 23 for Switch and mobile, which was a lighter entry in the series with a bit less content, but the last fully feature-packed game for PC was Farming Simulator 22, which came out in 2021. If you're not familiar with this series, it's farming, but very realistic, and it takes place in a modern-day setting with modern-day equipment. You drive different tractors and use different attachments for each step of the farming process, from tilling the soil to sowing seeds, spraying fertilizer, and harvesting. Each type of crops also requires specific equipment, so it is more technical than your typical farming game, and certainly can be intimidating at first, but I find it to be a lot of fun and quite relaxing once you get the hang of it. You typically start the game by fulfilling contracts for other farms, and then you save up your money and gradually can upgrade your own farming business by buying more land, hiring workers, and getting more advanced machinery. In this new entry, we can expect improved graphics, new machines, new features, and a completely new type of crops, rice. This also means a brand new region, so not only will we get one North American and one European region like usual, we'll also get the first East Asian region in the series. Overall though, it should feel very similar to previous farming simulator games, just improved and with more content. I know these games are a bit different from your typical, maybe more casual farming sim, but let me know if you like them and if you're planning to get Farming Simulator 25 when it releases. Let's now go for the complete opposite of a realistic simulator with Tiny Garden, which is a cute and simple game about creating a garden inside of this toy inspired by the 90s. It is planned to release for Steam and Nintendo Switch, and in this game you will plant some seeds, turn the crank to make them grow, and then trade in your little plastic crops for some furniture to decorate your house, which is on the top part of your toy. Some crops will have different effects on the soil. For example, a cactus will turn grass into sand, bushes will make grass grow around them, and fountains will replace some of the soil with water. So if you're looking for a fun, stress-free and simple game that will make you feel nostalgic for the 90s, it could be a good one to try, and they are currently doing a Kickstarter campaign to raise funds to complete the game and add more content to it. So if you're interested, I'll put the link to that in the description. I also currently have access to a demo of this game that the developers sent me, so if you are interested in seeing some gameplay, let me know in the comments. And now let's go back to a more traditional farming sim with Dragon Shelter, planned to release on Steam, but there's no release date yet. This one will be a fantasy farming sim where dragons will play a big role. You will be taking care of these creatures, each with their own special traits, and in exchange, they will help you with the chores as you restore the farm, which was, as always, left behind by your grandpa. Your farm won't be the only thing you'll have to restore, however, as people in town are going through dark times. They're unhappy, they lost faith in joy and friendship, and it will be your goal, alongside the dragons, to help bring some light back into their lives. There's really not too much footage of this game out there right now, there's no trailer yet, but from the bit that we can see, I love how it looks. The whole world looks like it was painted by hand. It reminds me a bit of the Doraemon Story of Seasons games, if you've seen those, but it's also quite unique in its own way, and I think it's very interesting visually. The game does look a bit different depending on if you're looking at the screenshots on Steam or the videos they posted on their Twitter or X. And personally, I think that what I see on Steam does look better. I love the UI and I feel like the lighting's a little bit different, but you can tell that the game is still early in development and some of these things will probably change. Overall though, I am quite looking forward to Dragon Shelter. If you prefer llamas over dragons, then you might be more into Wish Upon a Llama when it releases on Steam. This one was announced a little while ago, so you may already be familiar with it, but I never properly included it in the list, and I wanted to make sure I didn't leave it behind. In this cute pastel-colored pixel art life sim game, you will be taking care of a great variety of animals, not just llamas, that you will first have to find in procedurally generated mazes. Each species will come in different colors, patterns, and personalities, and you will be able to breed your different animals and take advantage of the genetics mechanics to discover all of the possible variations, including some special ones. You'll also get to play minigames with your pets, take them out for a walk, and if you want, put them up for adoption so they can find the perfect owner that will match their personality. You will then be able to meet the townsfolk, and they will actually keep the pets they adopted from you, and like in most life sim games, you will get to befriend or romance them, but also play minigames like jump rope, trivia, or cleaning the town together. As you progress, you will upgrade the town and unlock new infrastructures, and you'll also get to decorate your land. I don't think there will be proper farming, the focus will really be on the animals in this game, which I think is nice to see as ranching and taking care of pets is often extremely simple in most games, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it will work here. I do have some mixed feelings regarding the visuals of the game, but if the gameplay is good, I will be there for it. Another game for animal lovers is called Among the Wild, currently planned to release in early access on Steam someday. In this first-person farming sim, you will tame creatures. Some of them really look like Furbies and they're a bit creepy, but you will bring them back to your farm and each one will have different needs, diet, and traits. Take care of these Furbies properly, develop their abilities, evolve them even, and they will help you on your farm. Plant some crops, build beehives or things like smokers and fermenting barrels to process your crops, do some cooking and crafting, and decorate your farm however you'd like. There will be some quests to follow, but it looks like Among the Wild will be pretty sandboxy, you will have a lot of freedom, and I don't know if there will be any story, but I'm looking forward to knowing more about the game. The more I look at it, the more it reminds me of Palworld, especially with all of the creatures helping you. Let me know if you will be adding this one to your wishlist, or if you think we already have too many open world crafting and farming games. The next game, Kindred Vale, will take you to the Austrian Alps, and it is planned to release on Steam in early access, with a Kickstarter campaign launching soon. You will discover mystic spirits from the Austrian folklore, which first is great because we don't see Austrian folklore in a lot of games, and I am looking forward to learning about it. But also, as you help the spirits and gain their trust, you will unlock new abilities which will allow you to fly, dive, or travel at higher speeds to explore the world, which reminds me a lot of Tales of Seikyu, another upcoming farming sim that recently did a Kickstarter campaign also, and in which you will move to the countryside, obtain masks from different Japanese spirits that will then allow you to shapeshift so you can fly, dive underwater, and so on, so pretty much the same idea. You will also get to befriend or romance the townspeople, forage, fish, cook, and craft, and as you do all of that, you will try to uncover the secrets of Kindred Vale. There is this strange purple fog seen in various parts of town, and the only way to get rid of it will be by working with both people and the spirits to unify the town. I am excited about the Austrian setting, but I have similar feelings that I have with Tales of Seikyu. The game looks fine at first glance, but the trailer does not show much in terms of actual gameplay, just some walking and running, a fishing animation, and some dialogues. I also feel like some of the environments and textures do look a bit out of place. For example, the grass is super vibrant and cartoony. The buildings, on the other hand, are leaning more on the realistic side. The characters are maybe somewhere in between, and they have these black outlines that nothing else in the world has. It's probably still early in development, so I don't want to be too harsh, but based on my personal experience, more often than not, if the artistic direction is messy, the rest of the game will be as well. Kindred Vale is being made by Still Alive Studios, the same studio that is behind Garden Life, which released earlier this year, and it was a pretty good game, as well as the Bus Simulator series. It seems like their games vary a lot in quality, but they do have some experience and can finish their projects. I just don't know if the quality will be good enough to make someone pick this game over all of the other life sim and farming sim games. Let me know if you disagree, I hope I'm wrong, but we'll find out whenever it comes out. This next game, on the other hand, I'm truly excited for. Farmagia, releasing November 1st for Steam, Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation 5. After a new overlord imposes an oppressive regime over the once peaceful nation of Felicidad, your protagonist, called Ten, along with his friends, will fight to defend freedom. You will be helped by monsters as well, and the game will take place in 3 distinct steps. The first step will be farming, during which you will be planting various seeds that will then grow into monsters. The second step will be ranching, where you will be training your monsters by giving them different items and treats, which will increase their stats and ensure that they stay motivated. The third step will be battling, so you will go into dungeons, find your way to the boss, and direct your monsters to defeat it. Battles will reward you with more seeds, which you will then plant to get more monsters, and that should be the core gameplay loop. It seems fairly simple, and it reminds me a bit of Silent Hope, where you would do some crafting at your base, then go into dungeons and just repeat that loop over and over again, getting stronger every time, so I am expecting something similar here. I also quite like the art style, and it is worth noting that the characters were designed by Hiro Mashima, who is known for the manga series Rave Master and Fairy Tail, which I'm not too familiar with, to be honest, but they are now working on a Farmagia anime, so this will be more than just a game, and I hope all of it turns out well so we can get even more. And this game is being developed by Marvelous, who is behind the Rune Factory and Story of Seasons series. Alright, next we have Sandstar Island, set to release on Steam at the end of 2025. I debated whether or not to include this one. I am very skeptical about it, a lot more than I was with Kindred Vale, but sometimes it can be good to have a look at some red flags together, so let's check this out. I will read you their introduction from their Steam page. welcome to Sandstar Island, a tranquil island farming SLG that lifts away your weariness, allowing you to experience a leisurely pastoral life in your self-built realm. This sounds like it was definitely not translated by a human, it's just a bit too much, I don't know. And if you have any guesses as to what SLG means, let me know, as I have absolutely no idea. The rest of the page is as equally vague, with lots of fancy words but very little meaning behind them or about the game mechanics and what makes the game different. It does look cute. There are also a few things that caught my attention, like the scooter that you can use to drive around, as well as the building mechanics that reminds me of The Sims, where you can choose where you put walls, doors, and windows. And it will also be similar for the interior, with furniture that you can place freely, lots of clutter items to decorate with, the ability to resize them, and so on. A system like this has a lot of potential, and the house they made does look really cool. However, they don't show any of the UI and menus, so it is hard to tell how it will actually feel or look like when you're building. I'm also wondering if all of these items will be things you'll buy from a catalog like in The Sims, or items that you'll craft yourself, and will they have any impact on the gameplay? It really does not show or say much, and the extremely generic music doesn't help. Another one of their trailers shows almost 15 seconds of the protagonist watching copyrighted TV shows such as Crayon Shin-chan, Tom and Jerry, and Doraemon, and you can even see the watermark from the website that the developers downloaded the episodes from. I have no idea why they would do that. If it actually ends up in the game, it will certainly violate copyright law, but simply having it in the trailer is questionable, and to me at least, it shows that they don't really care, and it makes it hard to take the developers and their game seriously. In short, I love the scooter, the building mechanics if they're executed well, the game looks cute, but it also looks very generic, and I just don't have any faith in it. But I will still play it when it comes out because that's my duty, and I would love to be proven wrong if the game turns out to be amazing. The last game for this video is Super Farming Boy. I love that name, and it will be releasing for PC and Mac in early access, and then Nintendo Switch, Apple TV, as well as iOS and Android mobile devices. It will be on a lot of platforms, but we don't have a date yet. The game starts as your evil nemesis, Corpo, captures your mom, your friends, and everything you have, and he then makes you work on your farm so you can pay him to get back all of your things. In an interesting mix of action, puzzle, and farming, you will have to place your crops strategically in order to trigger chain reactions when harvesting them, which will help you save time and stamina, and also defend yourself against creatures trying to attack you and your crops. I did play a demo for this game not too long ago, and I had such a fun time. The presentation was what initially caught my attention. The game has this very cartoony, hand-drawn art style with over-the-top animation, reminiscent of Cuphead. The gameplay was also very refreshing. It was fast-paced, fun, satisfying when I made long chain reactions. And it's quite hard to compare it to any game as it's really doing its own thing, but playing it felt a bit like Harvest Moon Frantic Farming, but with much more substance and things to do. The controls were very simple. I could do everything simply by using the mouse, and I am confident that this will be a really good fit for mobile as well. The only problem I had with the controls was that sometimes I would be destroying my crops by accident, but the developers have fixed that already, so it looks like they're really on top of it when it comes to listening to players' feedback. I feel like not enough people are talking about this game. I'm so excited for it, and if it piqued your interest, the demo is still available on Steam until July 15th. So these are the 11 upcoming farming games that you might be interested in. For me, Super Farming Boy, Farmagia, and Cattle Country are at the very top of my list, but let me know which ones you're looking forward to. If there is a game I have not mentioned in this video, it's probably because I included it in another one already. I have a whole playlist full of these upcoming farming games, so feel free to check that out for more games. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.